Are you thinking about moving to Richmond, Virginia? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about some of the reasons why this might be the perfect place for you to call home. Hey YouTube family, what's up? It is Crystalline. I'm back with a new video today. The topic is going to be different than anything I've covered before, but it's something I've always wanted to do. So for those of you who are interested, keep watching. This is a new series I'm beginning on the city that I'm from and live in, which is Richmond, Virginia. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the main reasons I feel that Richmond may attract people who are not from here. So we're going to get into some of the things that I see are some pros to coming to the city and reasons why someone would really consider living here and calling it their new home. I also want to tell you why I think I'm a great person to do a series like this, and it's because I don't have an ulterior motive. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not looking to sell you a house. I'm not so committed to being in this city for the rest of my life that I'm just boasting about it and whatever. I am just someone who has lived here for over 30 years, and I feel like my expertise, if we'll call it that, is something that should be made available to people who are not from here who want a different perspective. There are people making videos like this. 90% of them, I'd be willing to bet, are real estate agents, and no shade, okay? There's nothing against that, but I'm just an everyday person. I am a member of the community. I'm a mom in the community. I'm an educator in the community. And again, I've been here the vast majority of my life. So who better to give you insight on what the city is like than someone who's been here and can give you a feel of what things are like outside of a transplant perspective, which nothing wrong with that. But again, and so while there are other people making these types of videos, I often do not see people who look like me making videos like this. And I just believe that there is another perspective that should be offered here. Everyone has a different experience. I think that my voice in this situation can help someone else who may be trying to figure out if Richmond is a place for them. If you have any questions, definitely reach out. I will say that the reasons I shared today, this list is not exhaustive, okay? There's so many other reasons why someone might want to move to Richmond, Virginia, and these are just some of the top ones that I believe would attract someone to this city. I also want to mention that the order in which I go in to list the reasons why someone should be here are not listed because this is number one or this is number two. I just have a list of 10 things and they're in no particular order. So with that being said, let's get started. Reason number one, location, okay? As the real estate agents say, location, 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 it matters. And so Richmond not only is the capital of the state of Virginia, but it is centrally located, not just in the state, but along the East Coast. So I-95, one of the main highways, is right through the city of Richmond, and it's such a hub. I think you get from so many different places, or can get to so many different places, just by being here in Richmond. We are 2 hours away from the mountains, 2 hours within, I should say. We are within 2 hours of the mountains, within 2 hours of beaches, and within 2 hours of the nation's capital, which is Washington, D.C. And so because we have so many different things around us, I think that that makes us a really hot spot. I say it's a hub because so many people that are traveling along I-95, whether they're going from the south to the north or the north to the south, they pass right through here. And so I just feel like Richmond's a great spot for that. It's not a particularly big city, but it's such a booming city right now. I think there's a lot happening in Richmond, and we'll get into some of that. But I think one of the cool features is it's a mid-sized city that still kind of has a vibe of you kind of get familiar with the people that you're around while also having opportunities on a daily basis to meet new people and hear from the experiences of people who are not from here but move here. Reason number two, Richmond, if you did not know, is actually rated number 2 in business in this country. You heard that right. Richmond is number 2 for business, and we're consistently in the top 5 and have been for several years when it comes to businesses. Richmond has 7 Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered right here in Richmond. I'll put a list of them here, but to top it off, we've got Dominion Energy, we have CarMax, Capital One, you name it. There's probably an office or hub here, but so many headquarters are right here in Richmond, Virginia. I mean, I guess guess we have the land to do so. With that said, business is always booming in certain industries, right? And so if you're someone who's in a particular field, you will always have a job readily available to you, ways to be promoted and opportunities presented to you, because we have a lot of business opportunities here. And that also brings people here because of the location. Reason number 3. One of my favorite things about Richmond is that I believe it is so uniquely architecturally diverse. What do I mean? There are so many different types of buildings here. You've got modern, you've got historical, you've got just about everything you can think of. There are some buildings that have that Spanish Mediterranean style. There are others that look like they are from the 1600s in a way, and they're still standing, which may be the case. But there are just so many different types of buildings and homes that you can get here. No matter your home style, you can find that here in Richmond, Virginia. I think that's such a unique point because there are certain places you can live in this country where you're only going to see a certain style of house, a certain type of building. If you're living in New Mexico or Vegas, your houses are all kind of going to look the same. Here, you've got everything. You've got mid-century modern, you've got colonial, you've got craftsman, you've got Tudor homes. There are so many types of homes here that whatever is your flavor, whatever is your taste, it exists here. It just depends on what side of town, but Richmond does have so many different types of architectural features that I think are unique, and I don't see that everywhere. Reason number 4. The weather. Hello. As I'm making this video, it is February 2024 and it is 60 degrees right now. Could be a lot worse, right? So very mild. I think the weather here is pretty great. We have all 4 seasons, even though the winter right now may seem a bit mild, right? Don't hold your breath. Tomorrow could be 30 degrees chillier. The weather here is overall really, really great. You get all 4 seasons, but none of them are too extreme. We've got really warm and great summers, sometimes super hot, but our winters are not too terrible either. Sometimes it's really cold, but we're not even guaranteed snow every year. So if you're someone who loves the cold and loves snow, it might be disappointing to come here and realize that we don't get a lot of it, but I love that whatever the season is, you have opportunities to get outside and enjoy the outdoors. So I think that weather is a great feature about living in Richmond, Virginia. Reason number 5. So we have a rich history here in Richmond. And while some of that history is not so great, that's a video for another day. And so what I want to talk to you about today is the rich history that exists here. There are so many things to learn. If you're a history buff or just someone who enjoys learning about the place that you live in or different areas of town, Richmond is not short of opportunities to be able to dive deep into some historical facts. We've got a plethora of museums and places that you can go, some focused on one thing or another. I believe there are well over 30 museums that you can go to just here in the Richmond area. So you've got the American Civil War Museum, you've got the Museum of Black History and Culture, you've got the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, which is one of my personal favorites. It's not too far, it's centrally located kind of, so it's easy to get to, and it's just beautiful. They always have different things going on, different events happening, different exhibits, and so really cool spot that you should check out at least a couple of times. You also have the Edgar Allan Poe Museum. So if that's something you're interested in, or if you're a huge Poe fan, you'll be excited to know that that's here as well. We have the Virginia Holocaust Museum. We have a science museum for everyone, and then a children's museum as well. I mean, and that's literally just to name a few. So the history, as you can see, is extremely rich. There are so many people here who have made it their life's work to study, you know, what Richmond is, how it came to be, how it has evolved. And so you are never short of learning new things about the city. And I love that there are so many areas that are definitely considered historical. So many original buildings that are here are still standing, but have been, you know, redesigned and remodeled to just keep them in existence. There are areas of town that we can't mess with or touch or, you know, do anything to because they are so historical. And I just think that adds something to the city here. Reason number 6, another personal favorite of mine, is the art scene. Listen, if you did not know, Richmond is an excellent city for those who love art. I mean, we have fine art, we have murals, we have sculptures, we have just about anything you'd want to see, and we're not short of it. Almost everywhere you can go in the city, you're gonna find a mural somewhere. I have made it a personal mission of mine over the past couple of years to try to visit a different mural at least every couple of weeks. It's something I love to do when I visit other cities too, but that started right here at home. And so I will insert a few of my times going out and looking at murals around the city, as well as featuring the artist's name there if you want to look at some of their work. But yes, the art scene here is absolutely insane in the best way. I love going around and seeing all the colorful work that is here, and I just hope it continues. Along with that, we have so many different museums that feature the art of not only local artists, but nationally and internationally known artists here, such as Kehinde Wiley and many, many more. Now, if you don't know, now you know. Richmond, number 7 reason I'm gonna put that you would love it here if you're a foodie or someone who just likes to get out, is our bar and restaurant scene. Now, while I personally do not frequent a lot of bars or pubs or things like that, I'm here to tell you, those who love breweries and trying different places, Richmond is not short of them. There's a new restaurant always popping up. I literally believe that you could come try a different restaurant here in the Richmond metro area every day of the year and not have to eat in the same place twice. There's so many different restaurants, especially in the Fan District and downtown, but all around the Richmond area. Henrico County, we've got Short Pump, you've got Chesterfield. There's just so many different places to go and try something new that you would not get bored if that's your thing. Reason number 8 that I think that you might love living in Richmond is that it has a ton of options for outdoor activities. One thing that people love about being here is visiting and frequenting the James River. Now, I'll be honest with you, because I'm gonna keep it real, that's not something I like to do. However, going to the river is something that people truly do enjoy. You have people who do canoeing and kayaking and just hanging out by the water. A lot of people love hanging out by the river, especially on summer days, summer evenings. It's a nice place for young folks to go hang out and just have a good time. There's so many different hiking trails, biking trails around the area that people enjoy as well. But because we don't have beaches right here in Richmond, a lot of people love hanging out at the James River. Overall, there are so many other activities that you can do. We have so many parks. Maymont Park is a place that I have some of my earliest memories. It's a beautiful park. People get married there. They have animals. They have a nature center. My kids have always gone on field trips there once a year. And so it's a place that if you live here, you've probably been there a handful of times at least. But it's an outdoor space that can really, really look beautiful, especially in the spring and summer. They have different exhibits, so to speak. And so I think that if you do enjoy the great outdoors, you would love Maymont Park. There's also Meadow Farm, Pocahontas Park, Crump Park, which is attached to Meadow Farm. There's so many different places to go and enjoy yourself. Here in Henrico County, where I live, you also have the new sports complex, which people are enjoying. And while that is indoors, they have some features that, you know, you can enjoy the outdoors as well. But Richmond has a large, has land. And so when you're out and about, there's just always a place to be. Number 9. So this one brings us to education. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I am an educator, and so if you have any questions about the school systems here in the Richmond, Virginia area, definitely feel free to email me or contact me some sort of way, and I'll be happy to talk to you. I know what it's like to not be from a place but wonder what the school systems are like, wonder, just about the dynamics, the demographics, just all of those different things. And so if you have some questions or are genuinely curious, I'd be happy to help you find some answers. So overall, I would say that I think that Richmond is underrated for its college scene. Now, by no means am I saying that it's a college town or a party city. No, that's not what I mean. But there are so many colleges here. So being someone who went to VCU, go Rams, it's a place that definitely has some culture and brings vibes to the city. People are proud to be affiliated with VCU on one level or another. They open up so many job opportunities. And it's just such a huge school. It's one of the biggest research schools that we have in this country, definitely on the East Coast, and they're doing some great things. VCU is great for the arts, it's great for healthcare, and so many other job fields like engineering, architecture, things like that. But we also have U of R, which has always been looked at as, you know, almost like a step below the Ivy Leagues. And so U of R stands for the University of Richmond. And that's a really great school as well. We have a couple of historically Black colleges here. There's Virginia State University, which is not far, about 30 minutes down the road in Petersburg. We've got Virginia Union University, which is also a historically Black college, or HBCU, but it's in the heart of Richmond. We also have some great community colleges. There's J. Sargent Reynolds and Bright Point, previously known as John Tyler Community College. We've got Randolph-Macon, which isn't far. And then within an hour, we have the University of Virginia, UVA. To public schools, right? We have some of the best public schools here in the state. I will say that not every school is created equal. I hate to be that frank, but it's true. But we do have some great schools. Some of the highlights of the public school systems here would be Henrico County, Chesterfield, and Hanover County. So if you have a family or young children, I definitely check those out. If you have questions as to why I'm not bringing up Richmond Public Schools and I'm talking about Richmond, again, you can ask me about that. But it's no secret that if you're talking about an inner city or the city as a whole, any big city you name, a lot of cities that are in the inner city are not considered the best schools, okay? And I won't go into that in this video. Again, if you have questions, you can reach out to me. But I think that we have some great opportunities to educate children here. And if public school is just not your thing, then I think that private schools are obviously something you can look into, and we have options for those. I'll put a list of some private schools here that you can look into, but we do have that option. And so if that's more your speed, if that's what you're looking for your child or your student, then you have that option as well. And so I think just having that range of options and opportunities is a great thing, which is why I think that education is on the list for one reason why Richmond, Virginia might be the best place for you to relocate to. The final reason for the video today that I'll get into, number 10, is going to be diversity. Now, one of the best things I love about Richmond is that you are going to see every kind of person here. And I love that. I don't want to ever feel like I'm just around one set of people or another. Now, I am not going to be shy about the fact that as a Black woman, I want to see people who look like me. And I'm grateful that I live in a place that does have that. I will break down the statistics here and put them in the video on the screen, but let's just say Richmond definitely has a range of people. Now, numbers don't always speak to exactly what you're looking at. It depends on the size. So keep that in mind. A place like Tampa, Florida, Dallas, Texas, Chicago, those are much bigger cities, so their percentages may look different. For Richmond being the size of city that it is, I'll put the number here. We have a very diverse group. You're gonna have white, Black, Asian, Hispanic. You're gonna have everything you can think of here. And I just think that that is very important. It's important for me to be in an environment where I see people of all kinds and that my children grow up in that type of environment. Now, some people don't care about those things, and for that reason, they might be prone to living on one side of town than another. But I feel truly blessed to live in an environment where I get to see people of all walks of life every day and experience new cultures, and that my children get to do the same. So listen, that is some of the reasons I think that making Richmond, Virginia your home could be one of the best things that you do. Richmond is a fantastic place to raise a family, okay? If you have kids, if you are thinking of starting a family, you would want to consider Richmond. And when I say Richmond, obviously that's going to include the greater Richmond area. So technically speaking, I don't live in the city of Richmond, but I could drive 2 minutes down the road and I am in Richmond. I live in Henrico County, which is one of the largest counties here, and it's east and west of the city of Richmond. And so north of Richmond, east and west. And so it's kind of weird how it's split up. It kind of runs through. You can literally go from the west end, drive through downtown, get to the east end, and that's in each of those east and west points are considered Henrico County. Another point about Richmond's diversity I wanted to include is that we have a ton of festivals all the time, like throughout the year, particularly between spring and fall, there's so many different festivals that go on due to the amount of people that we have from different cultures. We have the Filipino festival, we have a Lebanese festival, we have the Irish festival, we have so many different things that go on throughout the year. And so I just feel like no matter what your background is, what you typically acclimate to, the things that you feel most connected to, there's a place for you here. You just have to find your people, but they are here. And that's a great thing to know, that whether you know right away who to go to, who to talk to, where the places are that feel most like you, it exists here. And I don't think that can be said about every place. So I'm proud to say that Richmond has all of that. And please leave me comments. I want to know what you guys think. What did I miss? What do you think is the best thing about living in Richmond? What do you think that people who are not from here need to know before they move here? Just stay tuned, because I am going to put out a video very soon on the reasons why someone may not want to move to Richmond. So stay tuned for that. But until next time, I'd love to hear from you and get your feedback on what you thought of this video, and maybe possibly ideas that I can incorporate for this RVA series. Until next time.